as far as replacing Salah, a lot of people are just connecting the dots and say, Gus Bradley is waiting in the wings. That makes a lot of sense. Will he be an internal candidate? Well, do you have any other internal candidates, and do you plan to, cast a pretty wide net?
I'm going to say it's a real wide net, but I mean, Gus is the obvious one to everyone, and it is to us too. Gus would be the main internal candidate. We feel very fortunate to get Gus and great about that. But also we are going to go through the whole process. There's requirements we have to do and stuff that we want to do also. So hopefully we can get it settled sooner than later, but I see it working throughout this next week on it.
Kyle, in a season of up and downs, was there a turning point you think that the season either could have gone south or went up? Maybe it was after Fred's injury, that the team kind of galvanized. They obviously went on a long winning streak and got in the playoffs. Do you feel there was a point where it could have broke either way?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I thought it could right after losing Bosa. Then we went and had a huge win with the Rams, at the Rams. I want to say maybe the next week it was where we lost a tough game to Tampa that I felt like we should have won, but we didn't get it done. And then we lost Fred in it, which was like the second impact. I was like, all right, can we overcome this? But the way we showed up the next week and beat Atlanta was a hell of a deal. I forget who it was after Atlanta. I think it might have been Houston, but we lost the next game. And then I always felt that every time we lost a game that this could be it if you lose two in a row. Like this could be tough. And then our team never did lose two in a row. And I thought that was one of the cooler things that I would tell to our guys a lot that I noticed with them. Like whenever we did lose games, it's not like that we didn't try our hardest in those games, but when you lose a game, guys always were like, all right, what can we do to not make that happen again? It wasn't more like, all right, that was their fault this week, or I did my job, but that guy didn't, so that's why we lost. Like you could just feel every time we lost a game, this team was a little different, and the fact that we never lost two in a row, I think, is what allowed us to do all that stuff, and what really allowed us to get the to have a chance for the 1 seed and to get in the playoffs was then stringing together some wins in a row that overcoming some of the turnovers we had versus Carolina in the first half and finding a way to still win that game, to go on the road and then beat Cleveland, which we knew was a good defense, and if we were sloppy that they would be able to do us, get us to go to up to Indy on Monday night and play that way, and then to find a way to beat the Bears in that shootout, and then all of a sudden, man, we've strung. Not only have we not lost two in a row, but we've strung together six in a row, and we started the year out winning 3 in a row. All right, that's why we're here. And now what are we going to do in these next couple of weeks?
Kyle, you've talked about the Seattle defensive system, and that's the one that you've been toughest for you to go against. Is that still, you want to stay with the Seattle system? I know you're going to be talking to other people, but in your mind as you go into this, are you going to want to stay with the defensive scheme that's been working for you?
Yeah, I mean, one, I don't even know, when you say Seattle system, I think you mean when we first got here, in a 4-down front and a team that majored in cover 3, and I feel like that's what's left from that, that we major in a 4-down front. It really hasn't been that since 2019. It's been totally different. But yeah, we haven't been a 3-4 base or anything like that, but we had a lot of 5-down fronts this year. There's teams that are 3-4 base that didn't get into base the entire year. They were nickel throughout the whole time. So I think the semantics or stuff, the way you describe something like that, I think is a little overrated. I think defenses need a little bit of everything. Yeah, we have a 4-down front. That's what we like to do. But I thought it was important that we had 5-down fronts this year, and we did put that in. I think it's important that you do have a coverage that you can, you can really settle on and know this is what we do the best. But if you don't have 4 to 5 coverages that play off that, and it doesn't matter how good you are at that coverage. That's how this league works now. Offensive coaches know how to attack things too much, and so you have to up the variables on what they know they're going to get, and that starts with front change, it starts with coverage change, and it goes with personnel change. And I think we've done more of that each year, and we'll continue to have to do more of that.
Forgive me, I have a question about the electrical substation. I assume you guys think there's nothing to that, but you do have guys in your locker room who aren't sure. Based on some stories, there are people in the league who aren't sure, and maybe it's a consideration if they want to come to the Niners. It kind of seems ridiculous, but is that something that you have to, I don't know, study, but or at least address in the locker room, address in some way? Because right now, even though I don't know, but it seems like it could be easily debunked, but there's a feeling, at least in the locker room around the league, that maybe there's something to it.
Yeah, what I would tell you, Eric, because it deals with allegedly, the health and safety of our players, I think you have to look into everything. And so our guys we've been reaching out to anyone and everyone to see, does a study exist other than a guy sticking an apparatus underneath a fence and coming up with a number that I have no idea what that means. That's what we know exists. We've heard that debunked. So yes, we will look into it. We have, the health and safety of our players is of the utmost priority. We pour into it. Our ownership, Jed, tremendous in terms of resources, and we'll always be cognizant of things. I know that a lot of games have been won at this facility, since it opened, and so, but yeah, we aren't going to turn a blind eye. We'll look into everything.
Two-part question on special teams. Obviously, a huge turnaround this year. The battery of Pinheiro, Morstead, Weeks. What are the prospects of bringing them back next year? And then just a larger picture question about Brant Boyer. Is there anything that you learned from him this year and his contributions that will help sustain the success that the team saw in special teams?
Yeah, first, hopefully we get all those guys back. I mean, we love those guys as people, and they played their asses off. So they played at a high level, and we'd love to get them back. And Brand was my first year with them, and it was cool to go through it with them. I mean, Brand's a no-nonsense guy, played in the league for a while and kind of has that respect of playing in the league and the way he made it as a 10-year fullback / special teams guy. And he kind of carries that over to his coaching style. He's not going to make it complicated. He's going to make it all about the film, all about executing and doing your job on a consistent basis over and over and over again, which is, to me, what you want. You don't want someone to come in and try to overly impress you with some gurud up special team stuff, because, yeah, that can be good and stuff, but that's rarely what it comes down to. And it was really cool to watch Brant from day one. What he preached is exactly what he was preaching on day 200 or whatever it was. It was the same stuff that he believed in, the same stuff he talked about on when we interviewed him, and the same stuff I hear him talk to players about every single day. And usually when you're like that and you believe in something, you're going to get what you emphasize, and it was cool the players that bought into it.
Linebacker.
What's that?
Linebacker.
He was a linebacker?
Linebacker.
Special teams guy.
Kyle doesn't miss much.
Mike Hell told us the other day he should be ready around training camp. One, is that your understanding as well? And then how have you seen him handle this process as a rookie whose season did get cut short?
Yeah, that's around the timeline. Mike Hill handled that just like everything else that he has. Kyle and I think, I remember during the 30 visit, we knew the film inside and out. You want to try to get to know the person. And I think each of us there's an ease to which with his presence, there's a wisdom beyond the years. He's tough. He's got that dark side he can go to on the field. I know he was really upset, and you've got to be very cognizant of that with these young guys. They pour into this, and when they get hurt, it's really hard on them. And it was really hard on Mike Hill, but he quickly snapped out of it. I think it's not a good thing because we would prefer those guys to be healthy, but the fact that he's had Bosa and Fred around to kind of be in his ear and be mentored in a sense as they go through their rehab together has been an awesome deal for him. He spoke to me on that the other day, and he's a worker, and so he's going to work tirelessly. His surgery went well and all that, had to be patient up front, but now he's really starting to crank, and he's going to do well. I know that.
Kyle, a couple of staff questions. One, did you expect any more changes either with people leaving with Saleh or decisions of your own to your staff? And two, would you like to get some continuity at the coordinator spot after, this would be 5 in 5 years?
Yeah, I do expect Saleh to ask for some people. We'll see how that goes here over the next 2 weeks. And I would love some continuity. I definitely don't like doing this for the 5th year in a row. I really would like to go on vacation, but these D coordinators keep making me have to my family wait and get mad at me for it. But it is what it is. We've had some real good coaches. And I'm very happy for Saul and his family that they got what they deserve. Wish it was maybe a year later. Because I would have loved to have Saul for another year. Also would have loved a draft choice. But it's it's part of having good people around here. So we'll find another good one. We have a lot of good guys in our building, as we've talked about already, and we'll end up figuring it out and being okay.